Hi all, and welcome to this calendar training video where I'm going to be showing you all things calendar. So we'll start off by learning how to create and edit events. Then we'll jump over into the admin controls. Then we'll look at how the app integrates with both Office 365 and Google Calendar and the different elements of how the syncing takes place. I'll show you how personal calendars works, where any agent in Zendesk will be able to create or link their own personal Office or Office 365 or Google Calendar to Zendesk. Then we'll talk about how the app really tightly integrates with Zendesk with ticket fields and tags, and how that can be used throughout the rest of Zendesk in macros, triggers, reporting, for example. And finally, as an extension to that integration stuff I'll be demoing, I'll be focusing on the workflow element within the app that allows you to do stuff relative to when an event starts or finishes. Okay, so let's just jump in and we'll start with creating and editing events. So here we are on a ticket and the calendar on the right hand side. If we want to create an event, all we have to do is select the calendar we want to create it on the top right hand side, the drop down, and then click in create in calendar like so. Here I'll be able to see the calendar in full view, where I'll be able to drag the event out in context like so, let it go, and then I'll need to submit it to save the event on the ticket. So that's one big thing worth emphasizing, is that calendar is about linking events to tickets. So the events that you see in each calendar are representing each ticket. So yeah, if I need to, at any point, if I want to see the calendar or any other calendar, I can click the top bar location like so. I'll just refresh it so you can see that the event that we just created is visible. And then over on the left hand side at the top, I'll be able to swap between calendars like so. Here I'm able to drag around any event I like so. If the ticket isn't open, then when I finish dragging it, it's going to take me straight to that ticket and say, hey, by the way, you do need to save this event, like so. So submit to start event a day later. But if I was to kind of go into the calendar here and edit an event on a ticket that is already open, you're able to see that it's just popping up here saying you need to submit the ticket to save the event with a link to the ticket. Another thing to note here is that when I'm editing an event, it does have a circle icon at the top right hand side to also help you know that it's something that's in motion or currently being edited. Any saved ticket will have the ticket icon, or saved event will have the ticket icon at the top right hand side. So let's just make the change here, go to the ticket and submit that to make the change. And then when we come back to the event here and refresh, I'll be able to see that that has now been saved. Cool. Okay, so a couple other things I'll point out is that this box here with the calendar is resizable, so you can resize it to kind of work in better with your screen, the size of your screen, and flicking back and forward with the ticket. You can choose to view the events based on a specific day. If you've got lots of events on a ticket, that's going to be really helpful. And then if you need a helicopter view of everything that's happening, you've got your month view there as well. The last thing I'll point about this top bar interface is around viewing calendar events. Now you can view each event by the calendar that they exist on, like so. But what you can also do is filter the calendar events based on Zendesk ticket views. So over here I've got my views, and you can see this is a replication of your views on the in the calendar. And so say, for example, I wanted to see all of the events, we'll get the week there, all of the events on tickets that are assigned to me. I can just click on the Your Unsolved Tickets view, and it's going to say, hey, here are your events, and I can go, oh, wait a minute, I've got an event on the calendar, the development calendar that's overlapping with an event on a ticket that I've got assigned for the sales calendar. Maybe I need to reschedule one of those events or reassign the tickets or something like that. So that can be really useful. It's a really cool way of viewing your events in the context of your Zendesk tickets. Being views which you use on a daily basis. Cool. Okay, now let's jump over into the admin side of things, which is found on the left bar icon, on the nav bar icon right here. So from an agent's perspective, all of your calendaring will be done either on the ticket by directly altering these ticket fields here, or by clicking on Edit in Calendar in the top bar location here. From an admin perspective, you're going to be prescribing all of the kind of admin-y stuff from this panel right here. So just to run through the tabs at the top, we've got the calendars for creating, editing, administering calendars. Then you've got your workflow section for kind of setting up things that will take place X time before or after an event takes place. Settings won't take very long, so we'll just jump into that and have a look at how this works. So first up, you got your time format, AM, PM, first day of the week, Sunday or Monday, and then you've got your event mapping. So using Zendesk placeholders, you can predefine the name of each calendar event when you create it, which is currently being pulled from the subject of the ticket. And then down here, we're predefining the description and the location of the event. And the description and location really kind of come into play with your Google or Office 365 integrations, because it'll be pushed through over into Google. Okay, so back over to calendars. Let's have a look at how we create a calendar. So the most simple way to create a calendar is to click Create a Calendar. And we'll call this one Finance, and we can choose a color. Cool. And then on this calendar, we do have granular access as granular kind of restriction controls. So say, for example, for my finance calendar, I only want administrators, the group finance, and Reginald. Cool, Reginald, to be able to have access to the calendar, no problem. So roles, groups, individuals, all able to be restricted, which is really useful. Say, for example, if you've got a change management calendar or any other calendar that's kind of sensitive, you don't want certain other people in the business being able to change events, but you need everybody else to see it. So going back to this change management calendar, your CAB or the change advisory board might schedule a change to take place, which you want the rest of the company to see, but you don't want anybody else in the company to be able to change when that is taking place. So just like here, we've got our write access, we've specified who's got access, and we've got a read access, meaning everybody in the company can see the events. Done. When I click OK, it's going to load here, and we'll be able to see that it's now created. Cool. So that's an easy way to create a calendar. Now, what I'll do is I'll kill these connections to Google and Office 365, so you can see how the app actually integrates with those. And also, additionally, to kind of illustrate this, I'll jump over to this slide here and talk about the different ways of the integration. So up until recently in the app, you were able to, if you created an event on a Zendesk ticket, you were able to link it up to Google, and it would push that event over to Google, but you weren't able to alter the event. And then recently we've obviously made it so that it's two-way. So now that if you alter the event over in Google or Office 365 or Zendesk, it's gonna kind of update in both calendars. And there's an option to turn that on or off depending on what your workflow requirements are. Maybe you need it to be only one way. And the final part of this integration that we've been working on is, or that exists, is if a calendar event exists over in Google or Office 365 is created over there, there is no ticket currently associated with it. We'll pull that event into Zendesk so you can see the event, but it's more of an FYI, so you can know when to schedule your tickets around those pre-existing kind of events created outside of Zendesk. Okay, let's jump into Zendesk now and have a look at how this all works. So I'm going to connect up my Google Calendar. I can do that by clicking that button and then going to Harriet, or whichever account you want to log into, and click Allow. And this is going to connect the Google account, and you can see at that point I've got control to connect up any of my calendars here to any number of the calendars that I've got over in my Google account. And this is the same for Office 365. So I'm going to connect up my Office 365 account, like so. And that's going to do its thing. It's handshake, and bang, it is now connected with Office 365 as well. So say for example I wanted to connect this HR calendar with my Office 365 calendar over here. You can see that there's several events that already exist over on my Office 365 calendar. So when I connect it up, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So let's do that. I'm going to connect it. And you can see it's now connected. And if I click on the calendar icon at the top here, I'll be able to go to my HR. And now that I've connected it up, you can see that it's pulled in these events here from the Google, from the Office 365 calendar. So we can do that as well with the Google one, but rather than connecting up an existing calendar, we're just going to create a calendar just by choosing one of these. So I'll choose marketing. You can see here we've got the same controls as we did before when we created the finance calendar, but we do have two extra controls because it's a linked calendar. Same as if I go into Edit HR now that it's connected with Office 365, I've also got these controls here. Two-way sync being what I just showed you before. When you create an event in Zendesk, it'll appear over in Google or Office 365, and when you edit it in either place, it'll update in the other place. The other option here is around when events get pulled in. So you can see if I go to my calendar here, the events have been pulled in with all of the details attached. But you might not want to show those details. You may want to just show whether it's busy or not busy. Particularly useful, say for example, if you've got personal calendars, people don't want to be sharing their personal, what's going on their personal calendars with the rest of the company. Not a problem. Okay, so we're back on Google, and we're going to add this marketing calendar like so. So all we do is choose marketing, and if we're happy with how things are set, we can click OK, and that's going to load up like so. Nice. If I have a look at the Google Calendar over here, you can see there's two events over here, and then if I have a look at the calendar now that we've just created in Zendesk, we'll be able to see that those events have been pulled in. Cool. Okay, so that's how the events get pulled in. Let's have a look at the two-way integration. So first up, we're going to create an event on the HR calendar with this new hire request ticket over here. So I'm going to go create in calendar. We'll put the event here, submit that, and then over in Office 365, we'll be able to see, oh sorry, I was going to refresh, but it's already come through. We'll be able to see that calendar event has come through over here. Now if I was to, we'll just make sure we can see this over here. I'll refresh this so we can see we've created this event. If I was to move any of these events around, like so, Maybe we'll move this employee assessment down like so. Then back over in Zendesk, if I refresh here, you'll be able to see those changes have come through. Notice that these events that are being pulled in from the other calendar have a little cloudy cloud icon at the top right hand side instead of a ticket icon or a dot icon. And that cloudy cloud represents that it is being pulled in, and you can't actually move this around. So because there's no ticket associated with it, it's just an FYI, so I know that I shouldn't schedule this ticket here, that's going to conflict with another event that's taking place on that calendar. Cool. So I'm going to go to this ticket and save that. And yeah, so that is the Google Office 365 integrations, two-way, and pulling in events. Next up, we've got personal calendars. So here we are looking at the agent interface from an agent's perspective. He's not an admin, he's just an agent. He's just working on a ticket, and he has to do a demo to this person here, and he wants to schedule it in his own calendar. So you, as a company, as an agent, you might not have prescribed workflows to doing calendar events on departmental calendars like this. So we give the power to the agents to say, well, I need to schedule on my calendar, so I'm going to add my own calendar in here. So I'll show you how this works. So I've just kind of disconnected, and I'm reconnecting so you can see how it works again. I'm going to connect up my Google account, Jeff Citizen, allow that, and when it connects up, I'll have access to add my personal calendar. So here is his personal calendar over here. If I go back here, you can see that his personal calendar does not exist on here. So we're going to add that personal calendar like so. I can choose, if I want to hide the details to the rest of the company of the calendar that I'm creating, or show the full details, and bang, the calendar is being created. As an agent, I have power to actually to remove this calendar at any point if I choose to, and I do have power as to whether I'm going to show or hide those details. So now, if I go to create an event, I can select the calendar, which is my calendar now. I can click on Create in Calendar, and if I go to the week view, you'll be able to see that all of the events that exist in my personal calendar over on the right. Over here now exist as pulled in events inside of Zendesk, which makes it really easy for me to know without getting out of Zendesk when I can schedule this ticket in for this user. So I'm just going to schedule it in for Friday morning, like so. Submit that, and bazinga, we're ready to rock and roll. Cool. Okay, so next up, what do we got? So we've gone through the integration, personal calendars. Now we're going through the how Zendesk integrates with, how the calendar integrates with Zendesk. So it does it in two different ways. There's a bunch of ticket fields that the calendar app feeds information to, and those ticket fields exist on your tickets, but they're invisible, so they don't get in the way of you doing stuff. The only place that you'll see stuff happening is actually in the events log of the ticket, but because this stuff exists, you can do stuff in your macros and your views, which we'll get onto after we cover tags, because it's an easier and faster one to cover. And there's 4 magical tags that get added onto your tickets depending on the state of a calendar event. And here we go as to what happens with those states. So prior to an event, when an event starts, the app will automatically add the tag event started to the ticket. And then when the event ends, it'll automatically add the event ended. Now these tags aren't removed from the ticket at all. They're just added. There's no magic to get rid of them. If you want to do something with these tags, you can create a trigger to say when a ticket is updated and contains the tag event started, then do X. Or if you wanted to remove them at any point as part of the workflow that you are building as a result of these tags, you could remove them as well. Up to you. Second two tags are a bit more magical because they automatically appear and disappear. The first one being event pending. So if a calendar event exists on a ticket in the future, the event pending tag will automatically be added to the ticket and will stay on the ticket until the event starts. And at that point, the event pending tag will automatically be removed. So what that tag allows you to do is to build a Zendesk view for all tickets that contain an event on it without having to specify any date fields or anything like that. You just say, show me all tickets with the tag event pending, and voila, you've got all your calendar events. And then you just have to decide what your columns are going to be, which you'll see in a sec. And then once the event starts, another tag, event in progress, will automatically be added to the ticket, and when the event ends, that tag will be removed. So once again, helping you either with building views or workflows or whatever you want to do there. So there's some tags that you can use throughout the rest of the Zendesk. Now let's get on to the ticket fields. So if we go over to a ticket, this one might be useful because Jeff has just added this to his calendar. So maybe he wants to kind of add a macro here to say, tell the customer when the event is. So yeah, it's just pulling those details from those fields. Maybe he doesn't want to give them the link to the calendar. No problems. That's fine, but that is there if you want to do that. Yeah, so that can be quite useful. Speedy way of letting the customer know that it's scheduled in. Another one is building Zendesk views. So if we come back over here, we can see that I've got a view here for upcoming calendar events. And the way that I've built this view is to group the tickets based on the event date that it's taking place on, and within those dates, I'm ordering it based on the time of the event, so that I'm seeing the events start from kind of the start of the day to the end of the day, which could be helpful for people that are doing tickets based on when they're scheduled, as opposed to the state of the ticket. Cool. That information also being pushed to Zendesk ticket fields is also really going to be useful if you're wanting to build Zendesk reports. So here we go. We've got over in Insights, I've built a few demo reports so you can see what potentially is capable. Here we're charting the duration of calendar events based on the calendar that the events exist on, and in this case we've got change management, HR support. Obviously, if I wanted to get rid of personal calendars, I could create a filter on this report to get rid of the personal calendars. That's not a problem. Another way I'm kind of breaking this down here is in another report to just look at the tickets. Who the tickets are assigned to. And the duration of those events. So I can see that Harriet Bergman here has got a lot going on in June, not much in May, not much in July, and nothing in August. So, that could be really useful from a project management sense, that I know that, hey, Harriet doesn't have much on, I can schedule something in with her. And you can take this a step further and build little reports like this and say that, I know that I can, each agent, I can schedule X amount of events for over the course of X time, and anything above that is going to, they're going to be overworked. So we can kind of keep a track and see that, Jeff Citizen here is very close to hitting his limit for July here. So yeah, building these reports, all of these reports are actually built off a single metric really. So we're just going to jump into, I think, this report here, event duration by assignee, and you can see that there's only a 1 watt, which is the duration of the calendar app, which is a custom metric, and I'll show you how to build that just in a sec. And the how is just being broken down by the month, year, of the ticket calendar event date, which is one of the one of the calendar ticket fields in Zendesk, and the ticket assignee. So to build this this metric here, calendar, duration of calendar app events, let's just go ahead and do that. So you can see how easy it is to create this metric, and then then it's just all clicky to create the reports. This is the most complex part about building one of these reports. But go to metric, click on create metric, and say it's custom metric. We're going to say this is what are we calling this here? We're calling this duration of calendar events, and then we go select some. So we type that in, put some brackets in there, and in the brackets we're going to be looking for calendar event duration in minutes. Now this is blue in metrics represents facts. So we're going to look in the facts section for calendar event duration in minutes, like so, and double click on it, and bang, that'll pop in there. And then because it's in minutes, we need to divide that by 60, and just make sure that that is everything. Yep, that's everything. Cool. And we can click on add. And finally, if you want to make it you don't need to get down to the the double decimal places for hours. You might want to get rid of one of these, so it's like 7.4 hours or whatever. You can apply that to the metric. Make sure you share it with everybody else, and then voila! Now you can use this metric in any report, which all of these reports are kind of stemming off of. Okay, so there's a little bit of what you can do in reporting, but with Zendesk, how it's integrated with Zendesk. The last part of that is workflows. So let's discuss workflows, which are not just available for the calendar app, but we've actually made this feature available in a couple of our other apps, Deadline and Due Time. And what it allows you to do is to define stuff that happens relative to when an event starts or finishes. So say, for example, you wanted to create a view to show you all tickets where the calendar app was going to hit within 8 hours. You could do that. Or maybe 15 minutes before the event, you wanted to email a group or change the status of the ticket from on hold to open. Not a problem. You can do that, and then by changing the status of a ticket to open, obviously brings it to the forefront of what your agents are looking at. Or maybe after an event, if the ticket hasn't been solved within X time, you may want to escalate the priority. Not a problem. Okay, so it all looks very good on the slide. Let's have a look at how it actually works in reality. So we're going to go into SweetHawk, into the calendar app over here again, and we're going to jump into our workflows section here. And you can see when we come into this workflow section that there is a couple of existing or default workflows, that being event started and event ended, and those are the tags that I was telling you about before that get added at the start and end of the event. You're free to add as many workflows as you want. So when I click on add workflow, let's say we're going to add a 15-minute event reminder. So we give it a name, and then we choose when it's going to fire, 15 minutes before the event start or event end if you wanted to, but we'll say event start, and then we can select a tag that we want to add to the ticket. And that's what these workflows are all about, really. It's about the tag that's getting added, the time and the tag. Once you've got the tag on the ticket, that ties in with your Zendesk triggers, and you can do whatever you want using the entire, triggers are essentially the engine of Zendesk at your disposal once this tag is added to the ticket at that time. Lastly, if you want to create a pop-up message that appears at the top right of the screen in Zendesk at this time, no problems. You can specify that here and say, this is your 15-minute event reminder. Cool. Okay, so that's done. So we click OK, and the workflow is created. Now, the only thing that it's doing right now is it's adding the 15-minute event reminder tag to the ticket 15 minutes before the event starts, and it's not doing anything else. To make something else happen, I've got a one-time clickable create trigger button here, which is going to create a trigger, like it's saying. So I click that, and at the top right hand side here, you can see that a trigger is being created, and I can click on this to go to the trigger and see what happens. It's a very basic trigger. It's just, all it's doing is saying when a ticket contains the tag 15-minute event reminder, then do something. And that something is to email the assigned group that this is your reminder, and it's going to remove the tag so that that this doesn't loop, and then your agent agents get a ticket. An email every time the ticket is updated while this tag is on there. So it's a nullifying condition there. But if you want to do other stuff, you just have to click on the Add Action button and say, okay, you know what? We also want to change the status of the ticket to open, or we want to set the priority to a little bit higher, or whatever. If you need different workflows for different departments, then you can add in more conditions at the top here and say, well, if the tag 15 event reminder is added to a ticket, then and the brand is X, or the group assigned ticket group. I think it's ticket group. There we go, group. The group is change management or IT or whatever. You could do that and segregate out your workflows like that. So really, yeah, you can create as many workflows as you need. Not a problem. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything. Thanks for watching. And if you've got any questions, email us at support@sweethawk.co, and we'll be doing our best to help. Cheers.